Hello and welcome to Enterprise Tech Spotlight here at InfoSystems, a podcast to help business leaders and IT leaders get engaged in their IT business decisions and to get educated and to get involved. My name is Keith Hales. I'm the CEO at InfoSystems, and thanks for joining us today. I'm very, very excited to do a follow-up podcast on the SAP HANA podcast we did a few weeks ago. We had some good response to that, and so we wanted to have a follow-on podcast where we talk a little bit about InfoSystems, our expertise in this area, and how we may be able to help you if you're looking for a partner around this topic. Joining us are a couple of folks from our team, Ben Lucas and John Von Mann. Ben and John, thanks so much for being here, guys. I really appreciate you taking the time to join us.
Great. Glad to be here.
All right. So guys, just for the folks who may not know you out there, and hopefully there's a few that know you and a few that don't, do you mind sharing a little bit about what you do with InfoSystems and kind of your experiences here? Ben, if you don't mind going first.
Sure. So I'm an account executive with InfoSystems, so focused on customer relations and helping our customers put solutions together that will help their business. Been in this role for a little while, a few years at InfoSystems, and had a little track record before that in the sales side, but actually started off on the technical side of things with a background around databases and application development and things like that.
Great. Thank you, Ben. John?
Hey. John Von Mann. Been with InfoSystems for 7 years. Before that, I was a customer in the IT industry for 20 plus years. And so I'm a sales engineer. Ben and I work together as a team and others, helping to solve infrastructure needs for our customers.
Thanks, guys. So both of you actually have a technical background before you got into sales. I guess I didn't realize that. So how does that help you? So before we kind of dive into the SAP specific questions, how does that help you when you're working with a customer to have that technical background first? John, you mind going ahead?
Yeah, that's a great question. I can empathize, I guess. So knowing that they have no holidays, that they're usually in a data center on Labor Day, what we just had, and Christmas and others. But no, it helps that we've seen some of the issues that arise and the challenges in getting change windows to do implementations and things of that nature. We've walked in their shoes before.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I would agree with John on that. I think that's really where it helps is just that we maybe walked a mile in their shoes a little bit and have a little more empathy for when we're trying to put something in place. We understand what they're going through as well. And really the goal is to help them, not to help ourselves. So.
Yeah. And we know when they have an outage, we know how that feels. And we know that everyone from the top is looking down at you like, when is it going to be resolved? Is it fixed yet? So we can empathize with that.
Yeah, certainly. Having a broad range of experience certainly helps. And, having lived some time in the customer's shoes, I think is important for everybody. It helps us all be better at our jobs, really. So getting specifically to the SAP HANA topic, last time we talked on the last episode we put out on the Enterprise Tech Spotlight podcast was specifically around maybe some of the IBM benefits or the benefits of the IBM solution for SAP HANA. So as far as working with InfoSystems, what can an organization expect some of the benefits of working with InfoSystems as they're evaluating their environment and evaluating infrastructure for the SAP HANA environment?
Yeah, I guess I would start with just say that, we've been in business selling IBM products and solutions for over 28 years. So with that, we have a lot of experience across multiple industries and also working with the IBM team and helping put together the right solution, hopefully the first time, and make it as easy as possible from a customer's perspective.
Yeah, we've built relationships with IBM, whether it be in the purchasing process or in the technical depth of team members we work with at IBM. So, we can really find the right person and streamline the process of, is it we're trying to resolve a problem or is it a question that we're trying to get an answer to? Yeah, we know those right people to go to at IBM.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know from our perspective, you mentioned working with IBM a lot. Also, just frankly, the process of purchasing the equipment, getting it delivered, all that other stuff, that there's nuances there that frankly we try to shield the customer from. We try not to let them know if we run into a problem, but fortunately, we've gotten pretty good at that. So we usually have a pretty good implementation experience for our customers. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think while the design and the configuration of the systems are probably most important, there's a lot more that goes into getting something delivered and implemented correctly. And that's really where I think that experience and that 28 years and the team that we have can bring to the table and really help that to make life as easy as possible on the customer side.
Yeah. So speaking of making life easy for the customer, there's obviously different models that an organization can purchase. So obviously, there's always the model of an organization, cutting a check, right? Doing a PO and us invoicing them and doing cutting a check for the equipment that they own it from a capital, asset perspective. But there are other models that are available to organizations as well. So, do you mind sharing what some of those solutions are?
Sure. So, with the nature of things changing in the world and new types of models, whether it's cloud and other things, we have everything from traditional capital purchases and even some traditional leases to some different types of leases, as well as some things around like consumption models and usage models. And that really helps a customer to have the flexibility to do kind of on-prem but cloud-like purchases.
Yeah, that's great point. So IBM offers scale, affordability, and dynamic capacity in shared pools, which allows you to, as a customer, to only pay for what you use. So let's say during tax season, you need to move processing power from one app to another. You can do that, and you're only paying for what you use when it's not tax season. So it's a great way to have a cloud-like model on-prem.
Okay, great. So there's cloud-like models, and that's all the IBM solutions, right? So there's meaning the hardware side, whether that's the storage or that's the power boxes themselves, that both of them allow for this cloud-like consumption type model. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. From the hardware all the way through some of the software, the OS is on those machines. It can be structured in a way that it's a consumable model.
Great. So as far as the IBM Power system specifically, what types of software or what types of systems or really applications maybe do we see our customers actually running on these boxes?
Yeah, so there's quite a few different use cases and environments that these go in. So anything from analytics to AI, we see a lot of database, Oracle DB2, as well as just backup recovery. And then, one of the name ones that we really work with a lot is SAP HANA. They're robust and in great environments for those types of applications.
Yeah, and you could run these on, multiple flavors of operating systems. It could be, IBM AIX, all the flavors of Linux, Red Hat. And if you're running Red Hat, you can utilize OpenShift and Red Hat Ansible to automate your environment over time and modernize it.
Yeah. So specifically to the SAP environment, my understanding is that that's running on Linux on Red Hat typically. So does that, if an organization wants to run their SAP HANA environment on Power, do they have to understand all those other languages? Do they have to understand I? Do they have to understand X in order to leverage this technology?
Yeah, they do not. There's a lot of HANA runs on Red Hat as well as SUSE Linux. And in that environment, on a Power Box, you can actually just be knowledgeable in that certain OS to be able to run it.
Okay, that's great. Now, I saw a note. I was doing a little prep for this meeting, and I saw a note that IBM Power has some of the best uptime percentages of any solutions out there. If you're comparing IBM Power and the uptime that system creates for your production environment versus maybe an Intel-based solution such as a Dell or a Lenovo or an HP, do you mind speaking to that as well?
Yeah, I'll take that one, Ben. So IBM Power has been around for 30 years. Power 1 was released in 1990. And the last 14 years, IBM Power has been best in class and reliability, and has been consistently delivering 5 nines of uptime.
Yeah, 5 nines uptime. That's pretty high. I mean, that's only a few minutes a year of downtime. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Right, John?
That's exactly right.
Yeah, at one point I knew all the different conversions on the percentages of uptime to minutes a year, but that has since long left my brain, and I'm sure it's been filled up with other things that maybe not are quite as useful as that was. All right, so guys, I guess what have we left out? Any other thoughts you guys want to share specifically on the IBM Power side or the SAP HANA side? Ben, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I would just say from an IBM Power Platform perspective, especially if we look at it from a HANA perspective, why a customer and somebody would really want to look into that environment is what we talked a little bit about was the reliability, but also the scalability as well. It's one of the only systems that's able to scale as large as it is, as well as wide as it can, from an on-prem perspective for customers to utilize their systems in the best way possible for them. So they can actually add multiple, with virtualization on the IBM Power, they can actually add multiple different production boxes on the same frame, and it's ease of management as well as that scalability and reliability.
Thanks, Ben. John?
Yeah, I would agree with that. The sheer amount of memory you can put in a power box, since SAP HANA is memory intensive, that gives you a huge advantage, just that alone.
Yeah. All right. So I guess one final thing I do want to be sure all of our folks here is that obviously on the InfoSystems side, we've been doing the IBM Power solution for a very long time, back in the days when it was maybe not quite Power 1, but certainly on the RS6000 days and some of those other earlier versions of these technologies. We do have obviously folks like Ben and like John who are very capable, very knowledgeable, and just frankly experienced on these topics, along with other folks as well who have certifications, who have breadth of knowledge inside of in these environments. A lot of them come from our customers, like John, like Ben, and a lot of them come out of the technical side as well, who can help an organization. So just want to share that something that we do pride ourselves in. It's actually one of our core principles and expertise internally. So we're not going to be perfect at everything, but certainly we're going to do our best to be sure we're skilled up on the areas of need for our customers. So with that, I think we're going to wrap things up. So we really appreciate everybody joining, and those of you that are listening. And Ben and John, thank you so much for joining us today. Hopefully we were able to share some information around the IBM Power Platform that was useful, maybe even specifically to the SAP HANA environment. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and we hope you can join us next time. Thanks a lot.